A Spire of Fear. What would be my Spire of Fear? I guess that would be, being in a room with a lot of amazing pizza that would never, ever cool. And it would always burn my mouth. And I could never eat the pizza. Oh, quite fearful. What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Matt Diazabo, coming at you with a new music review. That's right. We doing stuff. We making music reviews. We're talking about it. I'm blabbling on. Horrible intro, but whatever. Yeah, so if you're new to my channel, thanks for coming on by. If you're coming back, really, really, really thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Yeah. Today I'm checking out the latest release from a guy called King Yosef. I hope I said that right. With his latest album called Spire of Fear. If you've never heard of King Yosef, he is an American musician who blends industrial, hardcore, metal, noise, trap, post-hardcore, and a bunch of genres into one thing from what I've discovered listening to this album. And I want to say he is from the Portland area, out in Portland, Oregon, because I was watching a video from, who was it? Dying Wishes vocalist Emma. I think her name is Emma. I forgot her last name, Emma. But yeah, she was talking about like underrated artists from the Portland area, and she mentioned this guy, and he had released an album this year. And I was like, hey, new music to check out. Let's put it on the list. And so that's what I did, and this is where we are now. And he has been known to, like I said, mesh different genres and styles, and really, 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 really pushes out production as his main driving force for his music and everything. Yeah, he has vocals, he has guest vocalists, but the vocals aren't as important as the sounds he's making with all the production he does, because I think it's a one-man project and he handles everything. And I gotta say, from just hearing this from a recommendation from a video and then listening to it, gotta say, it's pretty impressed by it. And with how much he pushes the boundaries with, his sound and, production is so important to him, it's definitely not simply, an album here. When you're listening to this, it's an experience. And just like this album cover, the whole album just feels like a towering industrial metal monolith that fuses doom style playing with industrial electronic decay and just a real deep of emotional dissolution into something that is just truly alive. This is music that feels like it is clawing at the edge of fear itself, thriving off of, noise, groove, and haunting atmosphere to where everything just blends together and it's really hard to separate everything, and not in a negative way, but it all just cohesively comes together to create this huge monolith of a record. And he is simply not just making heavy music here with this album, he is building a world in this dense, heavy, industrial, metal, doom-laden album. It's so impressive. And so this record opens up with a song called, I think it's pronounced Fioli, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just erupts and just really sets the tone for the entire album. His screams just cut through layers and layers of riffs and static noise to be just so recognizable. Then they collapse into this like doom-laden wall of sound before rising again, even bigger and heavier. So it feels like the sound of a spire being built out of steel and just pure chaos. And so within these opening moments, King Yosef is doing a really good job of like showing that Spire of Fear is going to be, a journey through intensity and just pure madness. And that promise is delivered on the next following track, Molten Fear. Here you get some really industrial style riffs that are just grinding like machinery under pressure, while you have some thunderous double bass kicks that just hammer everything through the mix. The groove is nasty, the bass is thick, and the production, it is pristine. What's also really cool about this track is that they have some like distorted screams and some eerie soundscapes that really twist and turn the track into something that is quite unsettling and quite cinematic at the same time. It feels like, you're descending down a staircase of darkness, and with every step, there's this hum of static and just unnerving weight as you just go into this abyss that you don't know what's going to happen. It's a very visceral like embodiment of the title of this album because it pulls the listener deeper and deeper into this like tower of dread. I would say if you're a fan of Code Orange or Candy, you'll definitely notice some similarities here, but King Yosef is doing a different job of like pushing things further into the territory of more being a bit more atmospheric and just having a little bit more psychological terror to it. Then you have the song Glimmer, which kind of offers a little like hope for like a glance of like light, or you know, the mirage of it. Because on this track you have some distant like guitar playing and some very reverb soaked vocals that are like in the distant, that all just kind of drift in and out like a fog before all the industrial chaos comes crashing in. And this weird push and pull between melancholy like feeling and distorted rhythm is very hypnotic. You know, you get very haunting, cinematic, and almost strangely beautiful sounds being presented here. So what he's making here feels like a perfect midway between, you know, Nine Inch Nails, mechanical, pulsating, industrial style music, but also post-metal ambience. And even if you didn't like read the lyrics or, you know, read up about this artist, you can definitely tell the way he is painting and constructing his songs, they're all about loss and hopelessness, and you can feel it as much as you can hear. Then you have the songs For Coctodus, I think that's how you call it, and Lishan. Again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing these song names, but here he is commanding texture and tension in a very incredible way. The former is, you know, very alive with some metallic style percussions, massive chugging riffs, and a very disembodied vocals that just swirl in the mix. To put it simply, it's a chaotic, catchy beast of a track. While the latter song kind of trades out the album's signature style of aggression for more haunting, spacious atmospheres. The icy synths and the slow and deep drums really create a very ghost-like industrial lull, like you're walking around in a very abandoned, cold, like steel mill. And so towards the end of the song, there's this like really like faint, almost rave-like type of music that plays. And, you know, instead of being a song or feeling of like destruction, it feels like a weird sense of rebirth in a very cathartic way. Then you got the tracks Doomtown and Wither that just really expand the emotional reach even further for this. Doomtown oddly sounds like, you know, I guess this is a weird way to describe it, but like a machine dreaming. It's distorted, it's fractured, but yet oddly very human. While Wither kind of begins with some very lo-fi, almost melancholy hip-hop like beats, and then it just gradually builds up with some soft synths that really invoke a very cold, isolating feeling before just exploding with a very huge, massive cathartic eruption. And I gotta say, his transition work on this record is just very fluid and very deliberate. You know, even when he's being very chaotic, it has a lot of grace to it. Like he knows what he's doing. And so we get to the final act of Spire of Fear, where, you know, everything feels like a very emotional collapse. Blue Morning opens up with a very soft piano style playing here that feels like half alive before building into this very dark cyberpunk style of music, and it just overall feels like a city mourning itself, like as it slowly dies. And then you have Walter. This song is emotionally heavy because it follows this very chilling, almost intimacy to it. It starts off with this weird old fiddle sample, and then it just merges with some very distorted vocals that are very slow and have a very funeral-like drum background to it, and it just conjuring this feeling of loss, memory, and just, you know, death and everything. It's an emotionally devastating song, and possibly in terms of like emotional, in like not in a negative way, but one of the lowest points on it. It's very depressing how it sounds, and it's probably also the most human on this album as well. There's so much going on with this particular track. And then you've got the title track, Spire of Fear, where everything just comes together and just crashes down in a very cathartic fashion. The suffocating bass lines, the massive chugging riffs just feel like the spire itself is imploding on itself. And the lyrical callbacks on this song really put the album all together in this very perfect circle moment here, closing with some emotional and sonic narrative that, you know, he's recalling back to the first track on this album. The distorted vocals and the blast beats just seal the record in a haze of, you know, ruin and beauty at the same time. Even the bonus track on this album, Everything Points, it feels purposeful. The glitchy synth work, The thick grooves and the pulsating rhythm really, like inject a strange new life into this record, even after it's like well and done. Like it's like, an after image of the Spire's collapse, suggesting that even in fear, there's still something that continues to grow and move long after it's gone. At the end of the day, I gotta say, Spire of Fear is an astonishing piece of work in terms of art, music, and everything, because it's cinematic, it's suffocating, and it's just endlessly compelling. King Yosef has masterfully blended industrial, doom, and just ambient elements into something that is very cohesive, it is visceral, and just emotionally raw. It's an album about descent, transformation, catharsis, and it's just a perfect storm of both heaviness and heart. So I gotta say, King Yosef, Spire of Fear, incredible work, incredible album. Gotta give it up to. It is a 10 out of 10. One of the best records I've listened to this year. So don't sleep on it. Go check it out. If he's in town with you and near you, if he's touring or anything, go check him out. Dope stuff on here. So till next time, guys, see you in the pit.